Hello, all. Thank you very much for joining Moving Sales Professionals for yet another episode. And we have a real treat for us today. We got Angie Barnett. She's the president and CEO of the Better Business Bureau of the Greater Maryland. She has been with the Better Business Bureau for 17 years. And prior to that, was an executive director of various nonprofits. Believe it or not, that's also my background because I used to work at a call center. We did fundraising for nonprofits. So
Mhm.
Sierra Club, Kennedy Center, Smithsonian, Whitman Walker, to
Wow.
make some of the local ones. So
Ah,
that's my
yeah.
background as well. So I used to work for a small call center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that was bought by Share Group, which people living in Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area are probably familiar with. They're like a pretty big national call center that did fundraising for various charities, also work with Democrats and then some other organizations like the Heritage Foundation, etc. So yes, I have that kind of background going back, which is probably what has put me here working with a call center. But more from you rather from me. So at Better Business Bureau Maryland is one of 97 Better Business Bureaus in US and Canada. And our local BBB here in Maryland was founded in 1917. So Angie, what has brought
Yes.
you to the Better Business Bureau?
Well, let's start where you did, and that is my background. I graduated with a social work degree and then advanced degrees, and really realized I was a much better leader than follower. It came intuitively and instinctively, so I knew I wanted leadership roles. And I always say that my time as a nonprofit taught me how to beg for money and do the work of a community, listen to a community and deliver what is needed, not what I think, but what is needed. Number two, I had a wonderful opportunity to work 5 years with a statewide business association, the state chamber of commerce. So that gave me exposure to a membership dues based, but still mission based. And so I took those two together, and it was like the perfect making to work at Better Business Bureau. And, there is a little bit about arbitration, mediation, doing the right thing for all the right reasons about BBB that you find in relationships in the social work realm. So kind of, it's been a good fit.
Great, great. It's always good to see somebody with such a strong background, especially with that many years in one place, shows uh, care for the organization in general and just the mission of where you're working. So I'd love to have that one day with some of my workers, because that's certainly with what we do here at Moving Sales Professionals. We only work with licensed companies, and we do very much look at the Better Business Bureau, and we do very much look at ratings and reviews that Better Business Bureau has in terms of us choosing, frankly, who we work with and who we don't. We want to work with companies that care about a brand, that care about their clients, and that want to build a long-term relationship with the community, which is certainly something that we work in, as we are 100% US based, and certainly all of our workers, they are here in Maryland. So we're certainly work to provide that kind of environment. And while we do hire some people that are on the outskirts, maybe a little bit in Virginia or Pennsylvania, on the border, so to speak, that's close enough to travel here, pretty much at this point, all of our workers are based here. We are open to remote, but we're still going to be 100% US based. And now for a quick message from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com to learn more. So Angie, how can a business maximize their online presence through the Better Business Bureau?
Well, that's a great question because we are less brick and mortar. We have an office, but it's an office for staff to work. We are an online presence. BBB.org actually captures our core service delivery and captures everything that you need to know as when you're considering a business as well as a business owner. So we're online presence, and we add or contribute to any business's online presence simply by, in essence, we build trust. We are what distinguishes us from others. We are our symbol, our Better Business Bureau seal. We are a sign of a better business. And that visual cue really speaks to customers, whether it's B2B or B2C. It's a visual cue that speaks. So first of all, that's a place, or that's important, is the element of trust. Our BBB business profiles also include customer experience. It's not my experience, it's customer experience. That profile is going to list either reviews or it can list complaints. It gives you and tells you what you might expect from that business based on the customer experience. A profile also gives the data of when the business started, how many employees do they have, who owns it, who is the owner, where are they located. It gives a lot of information that we vet, we post, and we're saying to people, trust us based on this information. So it really, I'll give you a great example. Last year, about 1.7 million people came to look up a Maryland business, So they're using BBB.org to check out a business that they can trust. Our online presence helps give you credence to your reputation. It's just really simple. We're one of many tools that people look at.
Right. And we certainly use that as a tool whenever we are comparing quotes, for example, between one moving company or another. For example, obviously, we're here to book jobs for our clients, but with our clients having good ratings of the Better Business Bureau, we use Better Business Bureau profile. We send potential clients of those moving companies that are looking to move, we send them links to Better Business Bureau to highlight the clients that we represent. So that's certainly a big tool that we use on a consistent basis, in addition to, of course, the Department of Transportation website as well, right? And now another message from our sponsors. For a limited time only, we have partnered with an SEO and marketing company with discounted rates for their services. Schedule an appointment via Calendar link below to learn more. Thank you. And now getting back to the podcast. So what information, well, you already told me what information is included in Better Business Profile, so I'm sorry. How can a moving company strengthen their profile? What would be some of the things that would help?
Great question. First of all, any business can post a profile absolutely free. We encourage everyone to do so. You do that at bbb.org. Use your menu tool and actually click and just give the profile information. So if we have information, you want to verify accuracy. One of the things we know is Google and search engines, they look for consistency. So how you have your address on your website, you want to make sure all the different online platforms are also posting that address, phone number, contact information the same. That's a free service we offer to our accredited businesses, is to do that kind of sweep. But that's why we say, if you're a business owner, check and see what your profile has, the information, and update it, hours of operation, those kinds of things. So that's critically important.
How many trucks you're running, how many people are working for you.
And if you're a business, do you, a moving company, is it just the moving aspect? Do you store, do you provide boxes and supplies? So you can expand the types of services you offer. You can also enhance your service area. So you want to verify that the information we have is absolutely 100% factually accurate. So that is a good first step for any business owner, is to post that profile and do that. And people say, they ask us all the time, well, I found a business profile about my business, or a business, and it had no complaints, no reviews. Is that bad? And no, that's a good thing. That means we have information, but the customer engagement thus far has not included a complaint.
So
But
no
we
red
always,
flags.
yeah, no red flags. We always hope there's reviews that build up on that profile as well.
Okay. And we've had this before. So for accreditation, now as you mentioned, anybody can list their business on a Better Business Bureau.
Yes.
You don't have to be, you can open up yesterday, or it could be 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. But in
Exactly.
terms of accreditation, how long does your business have to be in business in order to get accreditation?
Yeah, and that's one of many starting points. Policy stipulates a minimum of 6 months. We try to look and would like that business, and it's not when did you file with the state to incorporate, it's when did you serve your first customer. That's our definition of being in business, because you want to have that history of the ability to serve your customer. And if you
serve the public.
yeah, you remember when you started out, you're ironing out those, remember the concept of a soft launch, because you're ironing out the kinks. So we want to give a business time to do that. We do make an exception that if you were, if you were a senior manager and managed, finance, sales, marketing, if you had a huge management role in one company, you can transfer, and that could and ask for an exception to be made. It's based on the individual.
That is very interesting.
Yeah,
That's something I did not know. I'm sure a lot of my clients who their companies haven't been in business for that long, but they have years of experience working for another moving company. If I let them know that, don't be surprised if you start getting those calls. Because I will certainly use that to help my clients.
So, just a quick reminder, accreditation, what differentiates us from other associations. You don't just write a check. You don't just say, hey, I'm joining. We don't join. You are invited to apply for accreditation. It is an application process. We vet any application against our 8 standards. We have accreditation standards. They can range from honoring your commitments, to protecting the privacy of your client, to simply transparency, fully disclosing the information required to make a good decision by the user or the customer. So those standards are applied. The people that meet those standards, they can become accredited. But again, it's not required for us to handle complaints, or it's not required for you to post a free profile.
Okay. Now you said 8. So can you spell those out? I don't know. I don't know if you. I don't think you covered 8 just now. So,
No,
so I'd
but,
like to say what 8 are we talking about?
Yeah, and our first basic standard is really that fully disclosing all the information about the business, any information that somebody needs to know. So from licensing to address, we want to make sure people know it's a legitimate business. So, that's important. Responding to your customers, critically important. And that you're making that commitment that if I get a complaint, I'm willing to resolve that complaint, work through mediation or arbitration, but I'm committed to that standard. Transparency is huge. We go back and say, wow, we looked on your website and you say you offer all these services, or you have 20 employees. but you told us you only have one. So we're looking for that honesty and integrity in the information you share. So our standards are designed to be based on behaviors of a business that's we put into a concept. And I mentioned the last standard is integrity, and that would be your behaviors of that business exemplify trust, integrity, ethical practices. So we might look at a contract. We might look, and sometimes we've asked for sales scripts. Do you disclose all the information? So what those standards mean differ from business to business, but most importantly, industry to industry.
Perfect. But I like I like the transparency stuff because our contracts are pretty transparent. So we certainly make sure that we provide accurate information. And in terms of us being a brand, and we want the brand, and BBB is certainly a well-known brand.
Mhm.
So it's a pleasure to hear from you. It's really great to have you on. I would love to have you on again at some point in the
Thank
future.
you.
But
Thank
that's
you.
and that's great. And I thank you very much for taking your time with us today. And as always, as the world moves on its own, let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much for joining our podcast, Angie. And we'll see you guys, everyone, soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks.